He was still a dreamer, and at the start of his Caerphilly pastorate he had had a striking dream. He found himself in a chapel like Caerphilly, and hanging from the roof were many harps in green coverings, whilst in the background the devil was anxiously watching them, as if trembling for his own kingdom. The dreamer said, "I'll reach down those heavenly harps," and doing so, cried out, "Bless the Lord, for he has visited us according to his promises and our prayers and expectations." In 2 years, such was God's blessing resting on the word that some 140 members were added by baptism to the church. This, he believed, was the interpretation and fulfilling of the vision of the harps. Caerphilly became as a city set on a hill. Every Sabbath, multitudes might be seen wending their way to chapel across the hills from every side, and it has been said that those who knew Christmas Evans stated that his preaching at this period surpassed anything that had been heard before. His preaching was the topic of conversation in hundreds of homes each Sabbath evening. Neighbours would hear from those who had been to Caerphilly what wonderful truths had been spoken. So there was a witness both in the district and through much of Glamorgan and Monmouth. It would appear that many young people especially were influenced by the power of the truth, leaving the haunts of pleasure which had been their delight. 2 young men who were abundantly blessed at this time under Christmas Evans's preaching, Caleb Edmonds and Morgan Evans, seemed destined to great usefulness in the Church of God. But one died just after commencing his first pastorate, and the other without having even commenced a pastoral charge. There were also older people, some of whom had been drunkards, and the publicans complained that their trade had decreased considerably since Christmas Evans came into the district. It was at this time that a dying minister, J.P. Davis of Tredegar, had to spend a few months under medical care at Caerphilly. He passed much time with Christmas Evans, and was delighted with his company, and astonished by the fullness and blessedness of his ministry, Sabbath by Sabbath, this being a real comfort during his last days. In after years, the inhabitants of the district used to reckon things that happened by Christmas Evans's sermons. It must have happened then, because that was the time when Christmas Evans preached the wedding ring sermon. But besides his reputation as a great preacher, Christmas Evans had also gained the reputation of being an eminently godly man. 2 well-known stories that are told of him are typical of the godliness of his character. On one occasion, he employed a man to sell his old horse for him at a horse fair. After a time, Christmas Evans called to see what was happening, and found that the bargain was almost completed. "Is this your horse, Mr. Evans?" said the purchaser. "Certainly it is," he replied. "What is his age, sir?" 23 years. "But this man tells me he is only 15. "He is certainly 23, for he has been with me these 20 years, and he was 3 years old when I bought him." "Is he safe-footed?" "No, he is far from that. Indeed, that is why I want to part with him. And he has never been put into harness either since I bought him. The dealer in vain tried to stop him, whispering that he would never be able to sell the horse. But in this he was mistaken, for the buyer, intrigued by Christmas Evans's integrity, paid a very handsome price, and somehow the whole story got round Wales. The other story is of a minister who treated Christmas Evans most unkindly. Soon afterwards, this minister was charged with a crime and taken to court. On the day of the trial, Christmas Evans went aside in secret and pleaded with God that his old foe might be upheld and his name cleared. With what delight did he hear the news that he had been acquitted! He was with a company of ministers at the time, but with tears in his eyes, he immediately fell on his knees, exclaiming, "Thanks be unto thee, O Lord Jesus, for delivering one of thy servants from the mouth of the lions."